How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I am so happy to talk to you, my friend.
It's like the and still the gentlemen are APFC reigning and defending. 3 wins in a row, all stoppages in the APFC, 2 submission of the year contenders, and now a knockout of the year contender, Jalin Fuller. Is that better?
Oh, that was wonderful. That was immaculate.
We get the introduction out of the way now, proper for you. And how does it feel? What was camp like? I got to ask first off, defending. Like, this was new territory for you, having to defend that title. Did camp feel any different?
Camp felt different, but not in the way of, oh, this is a title defense. We got to hang on to what we got. Really trying to never get into the just keep what you got mentality and mindset. I'm still on the attack. I'm just attacking the division now from my pedestal on high.
From that perspective, the whole team was on the card. What was the flow and the vibe leading up to fight night?
Leading up to fight night, the vibe and flow, honestly, it was really, really good. But this is a lot of camps back to back to back for all of us, including my Muay Thai scrap just in the last 14 months. Been through 4 training camps. Mark the Hoss Hussey, been through it. Similarly, Brendan Johnson, Peyton, Elijah, all those guys, we've all been nonstop, really nonstop. So that aspect of it has been great because it's easier to go through that type of a situation when you got the boys with you, when you guys are all prepping and getting ready to go through battle together. So honestly, I love that type of a feel. It's always better for fight camp when it's you with somebody else. Always better.
The night isn't going how the team planned out. I know that you've been through nights like that before, having been around. What are the keys for you in your position to still be able to stay mentally focused in? Well, we know you're still aware and compassionate of what your team is going through on the night.
Honestly, it's taking their losses and not only just my team's losses, but every New Mexico guy that lost because most of these guys, as you know, are a lot of my close personal friends who I've been training with and in this game with for 10 years as a pro for about to be 7 years now that I've been with these guys. So everybody who took a L, Jess who took a L, Hoss who was having a really great performance and then just got caught up, Brendan who just got clipped on the entry, Peyton's fight where he was also putting a lot of pressure on his opponent, dropping his guy, rocking his guy. And so I was like, you know what? I'm about to kind of put myself in that team captain type of a role and be like, no, I'm putting the team on my back. I'm putting the state on my back, and I'm running through this kid.
You did that, and we get out to the fight. Before we get to the fight, though, actually, there's this moment, though, before we get to the fight. Did you know you had him at the weigh-ins? Because there was this push, and then I heard your rebuttal to him was something like you were getting the nerve up to do that all day, and it
Yeah.
just was such a cold mic drop of a line that everyone I shared that line with wanted to run and place money on you.
It's this the whole incident. I'm positive because it's a fight game. Yeah, we're gonna push. Some people are gonna push and shove. I know it's all entertainment. I know none of it is personal, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you worked up the courage all day long to be like, no, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna push him. I'm gonna put on a show and be that guy. And I'm like, you can't be that guy with me. All right, that's not possible. So as soon as he pushed me, I literally couldn't help but laugh, and I found it to truly be adorable, which is why I said it right out loud. I was like, that was adorable, man. It was so cute that you worked yourself up to do that all day long, and you actually did it. Good for you.
Our special guest weigh-in official, Steve Garcia, who was in for the photo ops because Anthony Pettis was delayed. Unfortunately, it's like, guys, I'm not here to actually break up a fight.
That's why I had to let him know immediately. I was like, you're fine. I was like, everybody, we're fine. We're fine. I'm not tripping. I'm not stressing. All right. And it's like I told him, this is a grown man's world. All right. Schoolyard tactics don't work around here. That's it.
Did you feel that that was it, that mentally there had been something taken off of his steam with the way that you just calmed the entire situation? You have this ability to take over a crowd.
um, kind of. I kind of thought he was gonna get like this, almost like last word type of a moment with him doing that, and then he went to not address me afterwards. He went to address the crowd and the people who were there afterwards. And I was like, no, 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 no. I will be doing that. I will now be taking command of the scene.
I have already learned now. Your entrance is happening. I got to get a phone out. I have to be ready. I sent you the video from my perspective as I'm able to get you and John and the backside of your twerk, unfortunately for me. But yeah, how much is that plan and all vibes again? Yes, I just said the backside of your twerk.
So we were vibing all camp. Like John was like, "What are you doing? What are you walking out to?" And I was like, "I'm not telling you. I don't want people to think that it's planned. I don't want people to think we're plotting and scheming this type of a thing." But I just saw that reel like on TikTok and Instagram with that dude coming out to Kalani folded, dancing in the snow, and then he hit that, and I was like, "You know what? I think it would be awfully nifty if I took a dude out right after right after I got done twerking on my entrance."
Oh my gosh, you own the crowd, you have the moment. What does that feel like now? You've done it a couple times in Isleta, this time coming in as the champ. Was there a different feeling, vibe, energy that you got?
Uh, I would say that there was a different vibe. There was definitely a different energy, but the different energy was coming from me. Like the energy from the crowd was the same. It was electric. They know when I'm walking out, they know a show. They know they're about to get a show. But for me, again, it was the fact that the night was going the way that it was going for my team and my friends, and I was like, "Oh hell no, I'm just not. I'm not putting up with any of this." But when Kalani started to bump on the speakers, that more intense part of me did have to take a back seat for a moment because I was like, "All right, hold on. Now you still gotta do what you do to make sure that you're right before you step into that cage."
Did you start out the fight the way you intended? It felt like you were kind of calculating and letting him throw some things back. Was that the thought process?
That was the thought process because for me, I thrive off of picking up a guy's timing. I need to feel your speed, and that way I can actually start to build my game and my tactics around it. You know, every no one's battle plan is perfect off of that first encounter, that first clash, unless you end up in one of those we both threw and I hit him first and he's out in the first 10 seconds. No battle plan survives first initial contact. So I'm very big on getting out there, throwing something quick to let them know, hey, you're in a fight and this is my turf, this is my pace that I'm setting. But at the same time, I want him to pull into me a little bit. I need some ebb and flow. It takes two to tango, so I have to be able to pick up on his tempo, his tactics, and what his game plan is, so I know that I'm not about to walk into something foolish like I've done in the past.
Were you surprised with his willingness to go kick for kick with you? There was quite a heavy couple minutes in there where you're attacking oblique kicks and leg kicks both. And I was surprised he was willing to duel with you in that realm and just go tick for tat.
I wasn't actually watching his tape and his footage. I know that not only is he an American top team guy, he's a Douglas Lima guy from ATT Atlanta initially. So I was like, oh, his whole game is built around that, in my opinion, his calf kick setups, his rear leg attacks. And then he usually catches you on your entry with that lightning fast overhand to lead hook combination that he throws so well. So I knew going into this fight, this is going to be a very kick heavy matchup. Fortunately for me, that's exactly where I thrive. So I could feel whenever he would land on me, he threw this one high kick, like right out the jump. and I did not respect it and didn't brace the way that I should, and it glanced off of me a little bit, and I was like, okay, never again. But I needed that though because I got to feel the exact amount of power he's throwing through with his, and then I feel like I really started to take control of that kick battle, especially after I landed my big roundhouse to the body and started to retake the center of the cage.
Not to mention, there just seemed to be this point. It's probably where the act kick starts to come down. Maybe it was where you try to slap him in the face with the hook kick, where I'm like, I think we're seeing like Jalen's pissed in there. It looked like all of a sudden there was a point where, yeah, that somewhere around the axe kick, I think you were pissed.
Yeah, but it turns into okay, I've played around long enough. Now let's actually get the tempo that I've been drilling and prepping all fight camp. I'm going to put that pace and pressure on you right now. And most people can't kick in rapid succession the way that I kick in rapid succession and then collapse right down into hand combinations right afterwards. It's because I'm a student of the game and not just MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I study Japanese kickboxers, Muay Thai kickboxers, Thai boxers, Japanese boxers, whoever, because I'm always trying to learn and better my game. So as soon as I threw that the question mark kick and tapped him with it, and then I knew I got him right in the eye. I knew I landed right in his eye, and then he went to wipe it and then give me a nod. And I was like, I'm not nodding with you, dog. Like we're not doing the hey, you got me. All right, that was a good one. Now I'm about to press you. And that's when I went for the rear hook kick right into that chest teep. And I've been making sure that all my teeps. Usually I'm an abdomen hunter guy, but there was something about the fight night. I wanted him to think that that teep was near his chin at all times, so I could bait that reaction down. So I kept on placing it like more so toward his chest or flaring it right in front of his mouth. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I've got it. Step in, big 1-2 into that lead elbow, and then double tap the rear knee, and he's out of there.
And that's exactly what happened. Did the first knee land?
The first knee landed. And when the first knee landed, I felt his arms plop down. And that's when watching back in the footage, I found out I was right. It looked like he took the bow, got a little bit damaged from it. To me, seemed like he was rocked. I threw one knee, but didn't let go like I did with the second one. And I felt his arms go from up here to they drop down and then flash back up. And I was like, I think there's a chance I just flashed you. I think I just flash KO'd you. I'm gonna do it again and see if you picked up on that. And I mean, and all these thoughts happen in a split second. You just notice it and then you go. And after I dropped him with that second knee and his body just lumped down into the cage, I was like, yeah, game time. It's over.
Yeah, a couple more shots. Maybe you landed. The ref's jumping in. He's tackling a ref's leg, and it's all she wrote. As good as it could have been. It went according to plan, as good as you could have planned.
Oh yeah, 100%. Dotson wanted him out of there in 2 minutes. I was happy with getting him out of there in under 2 rounds because I didn't want to expose myself to such a naturally gifted, young, talented guy. But Dotson was like, you could have gotten him out of there sooner because you could have started that pace and pressure whenever you wanted.
What does that tell you? A performance like that and having this kind of success.
It tells me what people like you and other like diehards of this sport have known for a long time. I've been at that UFC caliber level. I've been there for several years now, and I just haven't gotten the opportunity to showcase that. And now, after this win streak that I'm on right now, the guys who I've taken out, beating Mac Larson was huge, who, in my opinion, is a much higher level guy than Christian Turner is. I was much more nervous to fight Mac, who was the number one fighter in Canada. And I think he was Tapology's ranked number three in all of North America. Then I fought Mark, who I knew was just a bulldozer of a dog for the belt itself. And then taking out American Top Team's next up and coming guy. Like we all know that was their guy. They're like, we're bringing this dude to the main location. We're going to give him all the access, all the resources, because we think he's going to be in the UFC. He thought APFC 22 was going to be his launching pad to get his immediate call up, and he had to find out. I'm not these other dudes. I've been at this level. And even the dudes who have gotten by me who are in the UFC, many of them, there's no question I'm still better than.
You derail the hype train. That's an easy one to put out there. You do it in a highlight reel fashion. We're already talking about knockout of the year, quality performance, contender series or bust. Is that what we're thinking right now?
I don't think that will be getting the contender series call up. Based on what I've noticed, the contender series as well as the Ultimate Fighter, they have a bit of an age cap, is what I've noticed. This is truly for their younger up and coming prospects. I'm most likely getting my short notice call up. I've noticed that that's kind of the trend for those guys, which I'm fine with. Give me, I know that they're having trouble finding guys for like Jacoby Smith and I think Demarcus Jackson, I believe, who just had his fight at middleweight. He started off at heavyweight, dropped down to light heavyweight, and then dropped down to middleweight. Now, I believe
Oh,
I'm saying
Dante
his name
Johnson.
correct. Yeah, Johnson. Yes. So I know that those are the type of guys who they're having trouble finding matchups for. I've never been hard to find, and I'll clean up either one of those guys. Weight class be damned. 170, 185, I'm more than ready and willing. 170 is always going to be ideal. That's my weight class, that's my home. But there's no question that I can take out many of these 85ers as well.
What has happened since returning? 4 fights, 14 months. What's happened over the last 16 months? You've never been this direct with wanting that path. You've never been this vicious in the cage.
Honestly, it's just the quiet mouths don't get fed. We're past that point in MMA as a culture where your work speaks for itself. You have to call your shot, you have to demand your shot, and you have to have performances that back up those demands. If you don't already have a tight end with a management team like Iridium, who makes up like 40% of the UFC's roster, I'm like, that's a huge constant conflict of interest, in my opinion. But they make up that much of the roster. Those are the guys who are getting their immediate shots when they've only got 3 fights, 3 pro fights or 4 pro fights or something like that. And then there are other fighters who are even more decorated than myself, who are like 18-2 or something like that, still waiting to get their call up. But it's because they're just thinking my work is enough. It's not enough anymore. It's not enough anymore. So you have to call it. You got to demand it. And once you've called it out and you demanded those shots, you have to perform to show that you deserve it.
Let's be clear, everybody. The man wants the UFC. But as a worldly MMA fan, I gotta know when this morning news hits and you see that Rousey Corona card, the article's up at cageminds.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, 8 more fights dropped today, including a couple French prospects and some people. What do you think of the card? Not the business, not just that card. Tell the people how good it is.
Okay, so this card is actually, I will say, better than a lot of people are giving it credit for. I'm seeing a lot of haters being like, oh, this is just a bunch of washed up ex UFC scrubs. I'm like, no, this is a bunch of former highest level stars that they used to have, who all of which are competing and doing their own thing and performing well. Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz. I am excited to watch that fight. That is about to be a thugged up fight. And I'm just going, you call the spade a spade on this one. Mike Perry is going in there to swing and bang, all right? And Nate Diaz is going to try to swing and bang with him, but he's going to try to get to that clinch and try to clinch box, dirty box him up. But Mike Perry is now the king of the dirty box game with it being his own promotion. He's ready for that type of stuff. I'm so excited for this card. Francis Ngannou's making his long-awaited return. I just wish those breaks for him weren't so dang long and far in between. Um, man, Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey, the MMA fight. I'm gonna go Ronda. I think I have to go Ronda. She's just based off both their primes. Ronda is still just better than her. And then
Younger.
younger as well. I never like to bring that up with ladies. I am a gentleman.
You are.
But but Gina Carano, her striking has always been impressive. But Ronda Rousey is no longer the type of woman who's like, yeah, I'm going to stand here and box and do stand up with anybody. No, she's not doing that anymore. She's going to go in there and try to flip you and drop you on your head and then armbar you. And I think she can still do that to Gina Carano.
That's a very good possibility. And then I know you'll know the name. Some people won't recognize them, but you know how good Robles de Spain is, really how good he is, not just UFC, what happened.
You know,
You know how good Adriano Moraes is. You have seen Saldin Parnas, who's been killing it 2 divisions over in KSW.
W.
Could
Mhm.
you speak anything about those three gentlemen just to put it more out there so people know?
So anybody who doesn't know Adriano Moraes right now, you have a problem, and you're not probably a combat sports fan. Um, that's the man who's knocked out Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, dog. Okay. Yes, he did not come up on top in their trilogy, in their multiple fights. He did not. He lost, but that's fine. He still showed he's got more than whatever it takes to handle any of these dudes who he's going up against. That's a top three slash UFC champion caliber fighter, hands down, no questions asked. Just because he got beat by Yu Yu Wakamatsu and DJ doesn't magically make this dude wash. Those are, again, two of the best, I think, five flyweights to ever do it. And we just mentioned three of their names right there: Adriano Moraes, Yu Yu Wakamatsu, and DJ. Because most of these dudes' losses are just amongst each other. So there's no getting around that. You can throw Big Daddy Kyoji Horiguchi up in that mix as well. But as far as Adriano Moraes is concerned, that's a dude to watch. He's legit. He's for real. As far as our man from KSW to Spain, oh my God.
Parnas.
Sorry. He's two division champion. Okay, people underestimate the level and quality of competition in KSW. They highly underestimate that place. They sell out huge arenas, huge stadiums, 40 to 56,000 people filled arenas for these guys fighting. There's reasons why dudes who are fighting in KSW say, I'm not going to go over to the UFC. I make more here at KSW, or I'm an even bigger star here in KSW than I would be in the UFC. They get that royalty treatment over there at KSW to where they're walking around in their day-to-day lives not paying for meals because these dudes are treated at just a higher echelon of tier of respect. Crazy power, crazy speed for his division, crazy speed. Okay, power that translates to upper weight classes. He, God, I'm getting all antsy and geeked up about this dang fight.
It's
I'm
exciting.
just
No,
getting
it's
antsy.
really that good, people. It really is. Listen to the man. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay, and then the final gentleman who I said his name prematurely to Spain. Um, I am excited for him. He's incredibly talented, but I don't put him on the same pedestal as the other two.
He's an
But
older guy. His MMA game isn't as refined, but he is going to make an interesting matchup with Dos Santos. He tries to hit from awkward angles, and we
yeah,
know that Dos Santos is going to be classically, technically boxing. So it's an interesting kind of mashup. Which one kind of intercedes the other?
I would say this man because, correct
He's
me if I'm wrong, he is a bronze medalist in Taekwondo, correct?
in the
I
Olympics.
believe his distance management is going to be the key factor if he decides to use his distance management skills. Because if he just tries to go in there and slang and bang with Junior, yeah, he can catch him. He can clip him. He's enormous, so of course he could. But Junior Dos Santos is a dude who is he's more comfortable in the pocket than loose change. Okay, like that man is going to sit there, holster it down, and he will land that sharp overhand to hook combination that he also does so dang well. He's going to be looking to calf kick and chop down at Despain, but if he keeps himself moving, if he stays fluid and lets his vision, his kinetic vision do the work, I think he can pull this off over JDS.
That loose change line was as good as earlier when I was on with Saleh. I'm not sure if you heard it. We have Antoine Giovanni this weekend. It's 1-on-4. I said he's wrestling more guys than he has percentage of body fat on his body. That was also a killer line, but you got me with yours. That was really good. This weekend, I saw a familiar finish. It kind of looked like something that you might do. Yeah. We saw these elbows to defend a takedown from Costello Van Steens. What did you think of the middleweight title defense? Besides, we don't know, and no one knows what Fabian Edwards was thinking wrestling. No one knows.
Because in my opinion, all right, in my opinion, he was winning the stand-up affair. Fabian was winning that fight. And then I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know if they just saw something in his skills, or they're like, this dude's a fluke on the ground. Maybe they just thought if Fabian's big ass gets on top, he can finish him off. Maybe that was just what they were thinking. Maybe just taking away the puncher's chance. That could have been what they were thinking. But those elbows that he landed, this might be controversial to say, because after looking over multiple different angles, multiple different replays of it, because I'm not huge on me getting on social media and getting into the comments. For that one, I was like, that looks like every shot was to the back of the head to me. So I would say though, if the ref doesn't call it, then it don't matter what anyone else says. And he put himself in that position. You cannot shoot on somebody up against the cage and hang out there. We've been seeing that since Travis Brown in 2013 when he first started teeing off on I don't even remember who it was who he got with those elbows from that position, but he smoked him out with those bows. And ever since then, every year without fail, we see somebody shoot for these takedowns, lock their hands on that double, and instead of ripping that person out, they try to catch their breath first, and then they eat a big elbow that locks them up, and then they eat a bunch more, and then they're out. So I'm just
trying to
I
find that
don't
one that you're
quite know.
talking about. I'm looking for it right now. I know that Travis Brown also made those really popular, crumbling a couple guys towards their knees.
Hmm.
Costello Van Steens, controversial as it is, he gets the victory this weekend. It's Johnny Eblen, Brian Battle in Pittsburgh, most likely number one contender in the Steel City. It's wrestler versus a guy that started as a wrestler and found his heavy hands. I always enjoy your insight. What do you think about this one?
I think that first off, Brian Battle at 185. I know he's had trouble making 170, but I think he's a true tweener. I think that he's the guy who needs the 75 weight class, which wouldn't exist, which can't exist without 165. So Evelyn, who is such a heavy wrestling presence, it's gonna be rough. But Johnny hasn't been relying on his wrestling as much. He's been being a little bit more open to exchanges, which has been causing him to gas more, take more damage, and end up in positions to get submitted and finished by guys who he shouldn't be getting finished or submitted by, in my opinion, skill for skill. So I'm gonna go Johnny Ebelin in this fight, but there's something about Brian Battle's ability to find a finish that if you're a betting man and you're wanting to put dark horse money, I would put it on Brian Battle. But if you're a smart bet man, then you're gonna want to go Johnny Ebelin for this fight.
Ipa Kasong and I, Dalton Rasta, where we're talking about the middleweights. This card has two of them right at the top. And Kasong and I, he kind of came out of nowhere unexpectedly in 2023, wrecked the light heavyweight division of the PFL. And since that time, some of the size disparity did catch up to them. And it seemed like he's almost had a rough refooting, finding himself again at 185. Rasta got head kicked in his last fight. So both of these guys, your backfield's kind of against the fence already coming in.
I would agree with that 100%. Usually, when you've done a couple of weight class jumps like Ipa has, that's usually your one opportunity to rebrand yourself, which he did when he won the PFL tournament and became the world champion. But then he had to fight. It wasn't just, oh, let me fit in to this spot in the tournament when people are already deeper into the tournament. It's not like he started off at the PFL tournament from the jump at 205. He filled in. Okay, so then now that he has to go up against these dudes when they're fresh, when they're not off of that extreme PFL fight camp schedule of almost every 6 weeks, it's a different beast. When those guys don't have to maintain their weight so small and they're actually able to be their full filled up selves, and he has to go in there against them and feel that size and power difference. He's not a small 85er, but he's not a big 85er either. I mean, him and Joaquin Buckley dang near looked the same size when they had fought back in 2022, I believe, when he got hit with that highlight reel knockout. So I would still favor Ipa because Mr. Kasunganai, because he has shown the ability to battle back when his back is against the wall better.
And
He's used to this pressure.
and because we're both MMA nerds, names that MMA nerds will understand: Julio Arce, Alan Bagoso, Natan Schulte, Robert Watley faces Dakota Bush. You have Mizuki Karuki, or you know who I'm talking about, even though I'm
Yeah.
mispronouncing that. Even Josh Frem is on this card. So, from a hardcore perspective, how do you feel about the depth?
I feel like the depth is, I would say this is, if you were to compare it in UFC terms for a casual fan to understand, this is low to mid tier UFC depth. Josh Frem is a dude who honestly just had to fight hammers, but he's a former LFA champ who just got thrown to the wolves too soon. Like he was in there, I think his first UFC fight was RoboCop. Like while he was on the come up, I'm like, that's a crazy dude to have to go in there straight from the LFA to then go and scrap with that man. Like that's a one hitter quitter guy. And
Fighting
I think,
RoboCop, Hernandez, and Kopylov.
yeah, that's no easy task. That dude had a murderer's row for his entry into the UFC, and people will just see that he lost. He went 0-3 in the UFC. I believe 0-3. I think he got one W. I believe so. Actually, I think I'm not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Two. He ended up with two wins. But people look at his resume and they're like, "Oh, UFC reject." I'm like, no. Some of these dudes are in the top 8 of their division right now, top 10 of their division, putting on a show every time. Like, so I think that Josh Friend is actually, he's my pick for this card. He's a guy who I've got my eyes on the most because I think he's going to rise to the occasion.
The VFL is in Pittsburgh. We just talked about APFC, an incredible night, and still. What is it like hearing that?
I love it. It feels comfortable. It feels right.
He's like, it's nice. It's like the couch I'm laying on. It feels good.
Yeah, it's like super cozy. And I don't think it's going anywhere until I decide I'm done with it.
Is there now a different kind of mindset towards dieting and towards preparation, thinking that the outlook is we're waiting for the short notice call? So how do you keep healthy but keep ready and all of these things that you got to balance?
Honestly, with help of my strength and conditioning coach Luke at Rough Rider Barbell Club, and John Dodson, we're able to get it all handled. Ever since my fight against Saunders, I've always been locked in now on nutrition and diet. My process is amazing. Yes, I go into weigh-ins with a pretty solid six pack, and then most of it's gone by the time we show up fight night. And I'm like, I'll take that for peak performance. I'll take that every day of the week, which is something I learned from my strength and conditioning coach. He said, I don't care how it looks. I care about how that muscle's performing. That's all I care about. And I was like, okay, you're right. Big man, you in charge. You're in charge. I'll trust you to it. So honestly, we're just going to keep our weight low, very manageable. but not too low. You know, I can make 170 on 2 weeks' notice, even if I was high 90s. But I'm looking to keep myself in that 80 zone.
He is the gentleman. He is the APFC welterweight champion. It was great getting to talk to him. We'll be hearing much more from him really soon. You have a great night, Jalin.
Thank you. You too, brother.